We're ready, Madison. Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you all to Reading 365. We have two fantastic readers this morning. We have a repeat and Mary, and Reggan is joining us this morning. Mary, if you remember, she's a health coach for UPMC Pinnacle, and she lives near Hershey, and she's going to send everyone who texts in the chat box a free box of chocolate if you ask for it during the live session, because she's got plenty of it in her house just ready to be sent. Okay, but you have to do it during the live session. Okay, kidding, just real. And Reggan is an admission counselor. She will send you some Penn State product stuff if you ask her in the chat box during the live session. She has tons of that.
I see what I can do.
And Reggan also is Reggan is the parent of a 5 and a 10-year-old children, and she just loves reading to them. We're just glad to have her here to share stories with us. So I think we'll have Mary go first, and Mary has a wonderful book to share with us. And what do you have to share with us today, Mary?
My book is called Muncha, Muncha, Muncha.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Thank you.
So this book is written by Candace Fleming and also by G. Brian Karras. For years, Mr. McGreely dreamed of planting a garden. He dreamed of getting his hands dirty, of growing yummy vegetables, and of gobbling them up. But he never once tried it until this spring, said Mr. McGreely. This spring, by golly, I'm going to start planting a garden. So he hoed and he sowed and he watched his garden grow. Lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, yum, yum, yummy, said Mr. McGreely. I'll soon fill my tummy with crisp, fresh vegetables. But one night, when the sun went down and the moon came up, 3 hungry bunnies appeared. Tippy, 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 pat. Muncha, muncha, muncha. The next morning, Mr. McGreely saw his gnawed sprouts. He was angry. So he built a small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. There, he declared, no bunny can get into my garden now. And the sun went down and the moon came up and tippy, 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 pat. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his nibbled leaves and gnawed sprouts, he was really angry. So he built a tall wooden wall behind a small wire fence and all of his vegetable garden, around all of his vegetable garden. Humph, he huffed. Those flop ears will never get over it. No bunny can get into it to get into my garden now. And the sun went down and the moon came up and tippy, 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 pat. Dig, scrabble, scrunch, scratch, scratch. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Were those vegetables protected? The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chewed sprouts, his nibbled leaves, and his gnawed sprouts, he was really angry. So he made a deep, wet trench outside the tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence, all around his vegetable garden. Ha! He snorted. Those pufftails can't get under it. They can't get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. And the sun went down, and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 pat. Dive, paddle, splash, splash, splash. Dig, scrabble, scratch, scratch, scratch. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Were those vegetables protected? I don't think so. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chomped blossoms, his chewed stems, his nibbled leaves, and his gnawed sprouts, he was furious. So he hammered and blocked, sawed and stalked, drilled and filled and trapped and locked, and he built a huge, enormous thing before the deep, wet trench, outside the tall wooden wall, behind the small wired fence, all around the vegetable garden. I've outsmarted those twitch ears for sure, he exclaimed. They can't get through it. They can't get under it. They can't get over it. No bunny, no way, no how, can get into my vegetable garden now. And the sun went down and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 stop. The three hungry bunnies looked and smelled and touched the huge, enormous thing before them, and tippy, 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 pat. The bunnies hopped away. This one worked. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his untouched vegetables, he was happy. I beat the bunnies, he whooped and did a jiggly wiggly victory dance. Then he, can you see the picture? This picture is important. And this one for what's happening. The bunnies are getting into his basket here. They're hiding under a blanket in that basket. Then Mr. McGreely climbed over, jumped across, squeezed between, and crawled under until he reached his vegetable garden. Ah, sighed Mr. McGreely. At last, smacking his lips, he picked and pulled up lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, and with his basket overflowing, he reached inside for something yummy. There are those bunnies in that basket. And there they are, eating those carrots. Muncha, muncha, muncha. There was nothing in his basket for poor Mr. McGreely.
What a fun book. Those little rascals.
Did he outsmart those bunnies?
We're going to talk about it a little bit later after. We're going to talk about it a little bit later after Reggan finishes her book. We're going to ask Reggan to join us now.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to read my book, The Fresh Princess by Deneen Miller. This is Destiny. Her dad calls her his princess, his fresh princess. Destiny likes a lot of the things that princesses like. Poofy dresses and sparkly shoes, shiny crowns, her princess throne, and her loyal subjects too. She is also really good at being really fresh. That means she's brave. She has her own style and is super smart. She shines like a new penny. Most days, being fresh is a good thing. Like when Destiny's big sister, Marley, teaches her how to jump double dutch. And Destiny jumps and trips and struggles. And jumps back in again, cool as she pleases, until she's got it licked. Today, Fresh Princess is not feeling fresh at all. That's because her family is moving to a new house in a new city. It is far away from everyone she knows and everything she loves. Destiny is not happy about that. Her dad tries to make it all better. That is his thing. Boo-boos get Band-Aids. Belly aches get soft rubs. Sleepyheads get goodnight kisses. On this day, getting back to feeling joyful takes way more work. Her heart will need to fill in the empty spaces where her happy used to be. Destiny perks up a little bit when she sees her new room. It has potential, she says to herself. She imagines the magnificent cities she'll build there, the fancy luncheons she'll host, and the new throne that will be the centerpiece of her new castle. Destiny finds a new favorite place where the daylight greets her every morning, and the stars wink at her each night. She perks up a little more when she looks outside. Destiny listens to the rhymes as the double dutch rope skips a beat across the concrete. Bluebells, cockle shells, Evie, Ivy over. The jumpers swing their hips and watch the ropes. Then they take flight. Destiny thinks it might be fun to jump in, but those kids are good, really good. So for now, she just watches. Her dad wants to help his fresh princess feel at home, so he invites her on a big adventure. One of his favorite things to do when he was a kid in his neighborhood was to ride the L train. Speeding at the top of the city made me feel like the king of the world, Dad says. Let's go see your new kingdom. Madam, your royal carriage. Destiny takes Dad's hand, climbs the steps, and prances down the aisle to her royal seat. She giggles as the train picks up speed, whistling and whirring through West Philadelphia. Can you hear that train? Along the way, Destiny's dad points out love letters tucked on the building's rooftops and spines. Keep your head to the sky, fresh princess, he says as they roll by. Destiny waves and blows kisses as the buildings salute her passing by. She does love what she sees, but still, she aches for home. Back at their new place, the kids are playing double dutch again. One of the girls flashes a bright smile and invites her to join. Destiny says, no thanks. She is not ready for her public. Not yet. Maybe soon. Why are you not playing double dutch? Asks Marley. You are just as good a jumper as anybody here, she says with a smile. What if I fall flat on my face? Asks Destiny. It wouldn't be the first time. Plus, you just get back up. You're the Fresh Princess. Destiny thinks about this and realizes she can do it. So she grabs her sparkly sneakers and decides to get out there and show them how it's done. Can you jump? Asks one of the girls. She says her name is Mary. Destiny gives a slow yes. Come jump with us, says Mary. Mary introduces Destiny to the block. There's Shania and Esete and Zoe and Zion, Miles, and 2 Lilas. Finally, it's her go. Destiny takes her place next to the ropes as the turners swing their arms. Cinderella, dressed in yellow, one upstairs to kiss her fella. Destiny takes a deep breath, swings her hips to the beat, and like the brave, fresh princess, jumps in. And the happiness she feels in this very moment, jumping high and free, surrounded by her new friends, is the freshest of all. The end.
Wow. Wonderful, wonderful job. All right, we're going to ask Mary to rejoin us. Just beautiful job reading. And both of you all did a fantastic job on how to read on Zoom. I like the singing there, Reggan. I love that.
Eat my day job.
No. Quit your day job. Start record that album, Reggan. Record it. No, fantastic. You know,
Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
it was, and you know, talking about change and apprehension. You know, with her going from the old house to the new house, and also failing, right, and trying something new, and her not being so sure. You know, we talked about the book a couple of months ago, Who Moved My Cheese, right? Mm-hmm. And that reminds me of that. You know, why did you decide to share the book this morning?
Well, recently this has become my youngest daughter, Ripley's favorite book. She also wants to do the singing parts on her own. She'll let me read the rest of the book, but she wants to read that part.
Beautiful.
And we are going to be moving to a new place soon as well. And while we're not moving very far, it will be a new school. So, you know, just preparing her for that and dealing with the change and making a new set of friends.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. You know, the Fresh Princess, she's adorable, you know, and just a wonderful, wonderful story. And Mary, are you there?
I'm here. The host stopped the video, so I can't.
Oh, okay, Madison, can you? Okay, there we go. Can you try now?
Okay. I think mine shows back.
What's that?
I think I'm back.
Well, we can't see you.
Huh.
There you go. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
All right. Though your screen is frozen, you can hear me though, right? So yeah, it's muted. There you go. Can you hear me?
Good.
Repeat. So Reagan, you work as an admission counselor at Penn State there. Can you give our listeners some tips on maybe some things that they can do during this time to prepare for college?
Absolutely. You definitely want to start thinking about your college career early. Whether or not college is, because, some people may have a plan that doesn't lead them to college, and that is okay. But if you know that you definitely want to go to college, make sure you are aware of your efforts early. Starting, in ninth grade, make sure you're taking classes that will support your college career. It doesn't mean that you have to know what you want to do or major in, but take courses that are a little bit more challenging, not just the general maths or the general Englishes. Push yourself a little bit, because you'll definitely feel the change in the effort required once you get to college. Also, make sure that you start applying for scholarships early. I talk to so many students who believe that they don't need to start worrying about that until their senior year. But there are scholarships available for students as young as elementary and middle school. I would say to start treating applying for scholarships like a job. Give yourself a goal once you reach high school age to find a scholarship and apply for it every single month. College is not cheap, and most of us, we don't have thousands of dollars laying around just to go to the school that we want to.
It's becoming millions of dollars now. Okay.
Absolutely. And there is so much scholarship money out there, but it's not something that you can wait to the last minute on. There's definitely a lot of apps that you can download onto your phone, like Scholly. One of the big things that I will say, though, is make sure that you are applying for scholarships that are free. You should never have to pay for a scholarship. It shouldn't ask you for any personal information like your social security number, bank account number, any of that. But put in the effort. A lot of those scholarships, you can use the same essay over and over. Just, change the pertinent material, the pertinent data.
Yeah. Wonderful. I want to have Mary jump in. We'll give you some more airtime here in a second. But Mary, your book was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you are a health coach, UPMC Pinnacle, and encouraging kids to eat healthy. What are some tips that you can give, to us parents in not having to force them to eat healthy, right? And to really persuade them to eat healthy.
Well, I think that it's really important to choose fruits and vegetables that you like so that you will eat them. And you want to eat as many as you can through the day. A serving at breakfast, a serving at lunch, a serving at supper. Snack time is a really good time for fruits throughout the day. You want to eat as healthy as you can. Just like the gentleman in the book, we don't all have the opportunity to grow our own vegetables, but there are lots of good vegetables at the store and fruits at the store that we can get. And they're really very important to eat. The government has a website called Choose My Plate, and they talk about how you can organize your plate to help you remember to get all of the nutrients that you need to get at mealtime. And that website divides the plate in half and then in half again. And it asks you to fill up half of your plate with fruits and vegetables. The other half of your plate is meat, and it's grains, like grains are breads and pasta and rice and things like that. And in your cup,
I thought the other half, Mary, would be dessert. I've been getting this wrong the whole time. I'm sorry.
That's wrong.
I misread The
Oh
recommendation.
dear. Desserts are saved for special treats. You don't have them at every single meal, but maybe once a day
Okay.
or a
I'll take
couple times a week.
I'll take note of that. I'll make that change immediately. No, and back to you, Reagan, with preparing kids. You said something really interesting in that, start applying for scholarships early, but
Yes,
also we should prepare our kids to look forward to, you know, college early, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, for me, I was the first in my family to go to college, but um, my parents, they treated it as an expectation, so it was something that I knew that I was going to do. Um, they couldn't help me with the experience, but definitely helped me prepare and pushed me to succeed and also to ask for help. Um, because a lot of times I found for myself and I run into with a lot of other high school kids, especially if things come easily, you're a great student, you get to college and things are different because you're not the smartest one in the bunch anymore.
Oh yeah.
So you need to be able to learn to ask for help and use your resources because colleges have so many resources available to you and you're paying for that as part of your tuition. So if you need to go to the learning center or get a tutor, those things are available to you and you need to be aware that they're there and to ask for help because this is an investment in your future. Like we've said, it's tens of thousands of dollars
Yeah.
and you want to make sure that you're making the most of it.
Yeah. Definitely.
I
I
love your
love that.
Christmas tree, Mary.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say. I love your Christmas tree.
thanks.
Beautiful. Is this the first year you had that particular tree? Or have you had it for a couple of years?
It's a live tree, so it's it's just fresh.
So it looks red though.
It's
I
not,
think it's
it's
just the
just the
light.
lights.
The lights are making, oh, okay, good. So yeah, that's why I was asking. Yeah, at first, yeah. So there's this thing going, that a lot of people are getting live Christmas trees. Have you always gotten a live Christmas tree?
Yes, in fact, I used to own a Christmas tree farm. We used to sell Christmas trees.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. That must have been interesting trying to manage planting trees and which trees to cut down.
For sure. Yep, it was very, very fun. It was not in this area. When I moved to this area, I no longer have my own trees. I have to go buy somebody else's.
Hmm. So you're probably pretty picky on picking out Christmas trees.
I'm very picky, but mostly my kids choose.
Okay, you let them choose.
Yes.
Okay. And being here in Pennsylvania, it's a very big agricultural like state. And a good place to buy a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables just by going outside your house and just going down the street. Would you agree?
I absolutely would. The farmer stands are excellent.
Yeah, yeah. Wonderful. Well, good. Ladies, thank you so much
Thank you.
for this engaging conversation. Fantastic reading. And Mary, I meant to comment on your reading as well with your changing of your voice, right? Awesome. You ladies gave a class on how to read. So so
Thank
thank
you.
you. Don't let this be your
Thank
last
you.
time. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for joining us on Reading 365. We're here every single day, reading at 11 o'clock and sharing wonderful stories just like the ones you heard this morning. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.